So when I was younger, there was a handful of games that even to this day hold a very special place in my heart. If I were to make a top 3, I'd say Pokemon Black 2, Little Bit Planet 2, and Earthbound. And I lump Mother 3 into that top 3 because I play Earthbound and Mother 3 around the same time. And I don't really separate the two. But there's one honorable mention that I'm leaving out of this conversation. A game that I put a significant amount of hours into. Now, based on earlier videos on this channel and the title, you can probably guess what game this is. Kirby Superstar Ultra is my favorite Kirby game of all time, and even after binging all of the other Kirby games, I still think Kirby Superstar Ultra is the best one. It stays on top. I remember one time as a kid, a challenge I imposed on myself was taking that shitty little copy ability you find on the tag planet and using it to beat Marx, because you had the copy essences in your inventory, so you just switch to the ability. Like whenever I get hit and I lose it, I just put it back on. So I beat Marx with it, which is surprising because as a kid I really sucked at this game, but I actually did it. But that led me to thinking, what if I took this a step higher? What if instead of just beating normal old Marx, I went to the true arena and I used the copy ability only? So today, in this challenge video, we'll be asking, can you beat the true arena using only the copy ability? Let's go! Alright, so before we start this challenge, let's go over some ground rules. Rule number 1, the Kabulify is an exception. I cannot change the fact that the game forced me to go into that starship to fight the boss. And I know it says copy ability only, but when they literally force me to, I just can't do anything about that. Rule 2, I have to use the copy ability for every single hit. If for any reason I have to attack a boss in a way that's not using the little visor, the challenge is over. And rule number 3, there's no rule number 3. Let's go. Alright, so let's fight our first boss. We're loaded up into the game and oh well. So I hate to break it to you all on the first boss, but yeah, this boss is not possible. And this boss right here is the sole reason why this is impossible. So the true mid-boss all-stars, the copy ability's greatest nightmare. You see, with most boss battles, the copy ability can just attack them and do its measly little 10 damage with no repercussions, because most bosses aren't tied to any specific copy ability. The only exceptions to this, which really aren't even exceptions, is when bosses throw out absorbable things, like when Kracko throws out the Waddle Doos or when Kracko Jr. throws out bombs and stuff like that. But usually can't get abilities from boss battles because you can't inhale them. But unlike regular bosses, the mid-bosses were always meant to be absorbed. So when you use the visor on them, every single attack will just make you absorb their ability, which of course gets rid of your copy ability. So how are you supposed to beat them? Well, you can't. After looking around on YouTube, I was looking for people who also did this same challenge or people who did something similar. On this boss battle specifically, what they would do is they just press the select button, which makes your ability just bounce around, and then they'll shoot star bullets at the boss battle and then reabsorb it. They just wouldn't attack using the copy ability because this boss battle doesn't allow it. So yeah, challenge over. See you later. Okay, but on a serious note, I'm not gonna make this boss an exception. This is just where the run truly ends. But I still wanted to beat every other boss with it, so we're gonna keep going from here. But there's something I do want to mention, something really funny I want to mention. So if you're using cheat codes to speed up the process of the video recording process like I was, you can use this cheat code that allows you to just use whatever ability you want when you want, just whenever Kirby. So you hold the inhale button, you press up, and Kirby gets that ability in his mouth and you eat it. So if you use that cheat code, you can still beat the boss copy ability only. The way this works is because you know how you do 10 damage every time you hit something with the visor. Now that 10 damage still happens even when you absorb things. So theoretically, if you were to hit the boss, get its ability, it will still do 10 damage. Then you would just get rid of the ability, go back to copy with the cheat code, rinse and repeat that entire process over and over and over and over again until the boss dies. But no one's crazy enough to ever do something that stupid though, right? No one would ever. so now we get to the montage of me fighting all the bosses before the final 4, because all these bosses are so easy and nothing really happens. So enjoy the show, I guess. Alright, now we're at the final 4 and we have to face Dedede. Fuck. We have to face Dedede. Sounds like I'm saying deity. Like, what? Okay, so we're at the final 4 and we have to face Dedede. There we go. We have to face Dedede, and usually this boss doesn't take any health at all. Usually whole ass free fight, but because I'm using this stupid ability, I started going mad. All right, I was talking all that shit at the beginning, talking about, oh, all these bosses are so, no, bro, this ability makes everything so much harder than it needs to be. The range sucks, the damage sucks, so you're up here trying to get up close and get as many hits as possible instead of playing patiently, and you just take more damage. So I'm at Max Dedede, a boss where I should have a lot of health, and a boss that shouldn't take me any health to beat either, and I'm struggling. It's insanity. Genuinely, I thought I was better at this game. Now, I could John and say, oh, I'm better at playing it on the actual DS than I am on the Xbox controller on Dezume, but I don't know, man. Just watch this Dedede win. I beat him, and then we're gonna move on to Wham Bam Jewel. Wham Bam Jewel. God. So we get the Wham Bam Jewel, and it takes me only like 5 to 8 attempts. I forget. I didn't feel like counting them. The one thing I will say about this boss is that you can't attack it all the time with this ability, because apparently that one attack where he drops like heads of himself, that counts as bomb, and then the attack where he drops all his fingers as rocks, that counts as rock Kirby. So you can only attack him during certain intervals. Certain attacks, and that messed me up a couple of times because I had to like reset after grabbing his ability on accident. But yeah, so this is the winning attempt. Galacta Knight. Galacta Knight was really hard. I think the biggest problem with Galacta Knight, that minion attack now. Like on paper, Galacta Knight isn't that bad, aside from the fact that just like Meta Knight, he does that chip damage whenever he attacks you. And it does a lot of chip damage. So like it's either you get hit and die or you don't get hit, but you damn near die. Another thing is the minion attack. There's a weird thing with the copy ability. It has 2 hitboxes, I guess. So if you hit the far edge of the visor, something gets sent forward. But if you hit the inside of it, then it brings the enemy towards you, which is instant damage. So I do understand it to an extent. I was gonna say I don't understand it, but it's kind of like it drags it in towards you instead of dragging it away from you so you can get the ability, I guess, whatever, right? But I don't understand why they have to make these 2 hitboxes in the first place instead of one consistent hitbox, especially with the spike ball ones, where it's really hard to hit them in the first place. It's kind of hard to really get that one hitbox you're looking for. So that caused a lot of trouble. Most of my deaths was because he summoned the minion horde, and I took so much damage that I couldn't even block his attacks anymore. But yeah, let's just get to the victory. Alright, we overcome all the trials. We beat Galacta Knight, Wham Bam Jewel, Dedede. Yeah, I said it right this time. Now we have to beat Marx Soul. And I have to rant about this boss now because when I don't even know what to say about this. So we're at Marx, and at this point, genuinely, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to finish the run. As you can see, I'm at a sliver of health and no tomatoes left. And after a couple of attempts, I was just thinking Marx is going to be impossible with the state I'm in. I'm going to have to start all the way from the beginning and conserve more HP. But I didn't. At this point, I had too much pride. I said, this is the save state we're gonna win on. This is it. So Mark's attack pattern is pretty easy. If you fight him enough times, you know exactly what he's gonna do and when he's gonna do it. But the only problem is that one of his attacks is heavily RNG based and there's not much you can do about it. The attack in question is the one where he splits his body into a bunch of paint. I tried so many different things to avoid this attack, but it really just seems RNG based. Sometimes the paint falls directly on top of my head multiple times and it does high chip damage. So if I guard it, I still take damage, and I don't have enough health to just be taking damage like that. I'll go to the right corner, still hits me. Left corner, still hits me. Run around from left to right, still hits me. It feels like there's some type of tracking on it, but the tracking is just random enough to where sometimes you'll get hit by it even if you just stand still in the middle, the corner, or the right corner or left corner, or you just get hit anyways. It's a very strange attack. I'll go as far as to say as is the only attack in Marx's arsenal that you're not guaranteed to avoid. It genuinely feels like the attack was made so that you're going to take damage from this attack and there's nothing you can do about it. You're either going to take chip damage or you're going to flat out get hit by it. And it felt like a lot of bullshit, but at the same time, I chose to do this challenge and I chose to save state and not save all my HP, so it's still my fault. Anyways, aside from that one attack, the boss is really just an endurance test. Doing only 10 damage to a final boss is crazy work, and trying to find the opportunity to hit him all the time without damaging yourself is the problem. You end up trying to rush in and trying to deplete his health bar so much, but then you don't focus on the fact that if I hit right here, I'm going to take damage. And eventually you just have to build into that playstyle where you're like, okay, patience, patience, patience. But then you start to get impatient because what if he uses the paint attack again? I might be able to block it, but I cannot take all that chip damage. And the worst part is that's one of the only attacks that he has that actually does chip damage. Like, the beam attack is avoidable, that needle attack doesn't do chip damage, or the attack where he becomes too blast is just flat out unblockable. The move where he drops that ice ball, that does no chip damage, you can block the entire thing. So it really just feels like that one attack was a fail safe to make sure that no matter what, if you guard, no matter what, you're just gonna take damage during this boss. But with that being said, let's get to the winning attempt. I learned a lot from this video. The first thing I learned is I should probably stream these next time so the clips don't have any other audio besides just the game. Like, I think it would be more interesting if I was talking and you guys could hear my reactions to me beating all the bosses, because I was popping off at all of these bosses. Like, after I won each match, I was popping off. Really, it was crazy. But this video also taught me a couple of new editing things that I didn't know how to do before, so more practice, you know? Overall, I had a fun time making it, and I hope that people enjoy the video as much as I enjoyed making it, because the challenge itself was really fun, but I still feel like the video could have been better if I would have like did some live streams of me recording on like the attempts and stuff like that. Next time I will for sure do that. Anyways, with the channel, I have a couple of video ideas in the works. There's one that is like a huge project. Like, I started it before the summer and I have to finish it still. I have to re-record all the voice lines because a lot of things have changed and I'm still working. Aside from that, I have some YouTube short ideas ready, and I also have another video dropping soon because it shouldn't take too long to do. It's kind of RNG based, so hopefully I can get it out in a timely manner. But that video should be way shorter than this one, and I'm going to stream that one after I'm done with the Blueberry Academy. I gotta stream Blueberry Academy one more time, and then after that I can get right on to this next one. But so stay tuned for that. But with all that being said, this has been Nkrumah, and I'll see you guys next time.